Raider Radio is the new program on Huntley Community Radio, created for and by Huntley High School students. Catch the sound for all the latest music and the talk for topics you don't want to miss.
Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Bardy, a.k.a. Chatty Cathy, teacher at Huntley High School, returning with another segment of Teacher Talk for Raider Radio. I hope everyone is enjoying our high school radio segments. Please remember, if you miss a show, you can always listen to the podcast from a previous show. Let's get started. Mr. Kempf, good
That's
to
me.
see you. Yes, welcome.
Good to see you.
I appreciate you coming. And how are you today?
I'm doing well. Fully, rejuvenated after 3 days off.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with that.
And how about Easter? Do you celebrate Easter with the family?
I do. We kind of only do the immediate family these days. My parents have about 109 first cousins, so we kind of isolate into
Good
smaller
Lord.
groups. And I have a 2-year-old niece, so we spent the day chasing her around the yard yesterday. It was kind of entertaining.
Wow, 109? Goodness.
We don't have family reunions. We have Chris Kempf family reunions, because if we just say Kempf, then we don't have a space big enough for all of us. It's insane.
Yes, I bet it is insane.
Yeah, a lot of our big holidays are really just immediate family. So my parents and my sister and I are the only two siblings. We do try to do a family reunion. We actually have them out here at Dikey Park for the Butler family. If any
nice.
of the listeners know the Montanis, that's my aunt, so she kind of sets it up out here. So we try to do that about once every 4 years, and there's no parking in all of Huntley because they all come to town. So
What a nice time. Good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Can you start by briefly introducing yourself, telling us about your high school position, what you teach?
So I started teaching at Huntley High School in 2006. Same position that I'm in now. I teach mostly the freshman conceptual physics class. Over the 8 years, I've taught a couple of different versions. I taught electronics for a couple of years. I did the AP Physics B curriculum for 1 or 2 years of the honors curriculum. But for 8 years, I've always had like the middle-of-the-road general conceptual physics class. For all 8 years, I've been a student council sponsor, so that's a job in and of itself, above and beyond
Totally.
teaching.
Yes.
And
done very well, student council.
Well, I appreciate that. We've done a lot of things that have gotten a lot of respect and a lot of people talk about, not to mention Tinkle Times. That's always the one that people like the most is Tinkle Times. And I was like, oh, we hang flyers in the bathroom, and that's our coolest thing we've ever done. But family-wise, I got married last summer to Crystal. She is trying to become a teacher in the district somewhere. She's a long-term sub right now over at Legee. We both live in Algonquin. Like I mentioned earlier, my aunt lives in Huntley. I mean, I remember coming out to Huntley when I felt like it took 3 days, and as soon as I finally saw Tom's Farm, I knew we had to be getting close. Now there's just houses the whole way here down Algonquin Road, so it seems to at least happen a little faster for me.
Was teaching your first occupation? Or
Teaching was my first occupation. Straight out of my very first degree at NIU, it was always physics education. Mr. Slattery always likes to make fun of me a little bit, thinking I mischecked the boxes. I meant phys ed instead of physics, but at one point I was actually considering that. But I have an older cousin who's a PE teacher in District 300,
Okay.
and at that point in time they were talking about some legislation about not requiring 4 years of phys ed anymore, and then teachers not being needed and stuff.
Okay.
I was like, all right, I guess, I'm kind of smart. I might as well use the brain and do the whole physics thing. And it's my history.
So
ever since.
is the Huntley your first and only school? Or
Yep,
have
it's
you
the only
taught?
school I've ever worked at.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, so you've seen the growth over
I have,
years.
and it's amazing. I've even seen it beyond that because my cousin Kurt Montani graduated in 99. So he was one of the kids that helped move from like the North Campus to the new school. And
Okay.
I was always hanging out with my cousins in the summer. I actually came out here for a weekend when they were like hired, by the school to like move furniture, just load up the trucks and stuff. And I'm like, wait, I'm coming out here to like hang out and we're working. I'm like, what's going on here? I've been in this building before it was even open.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
Right.
history with Huntley. It's
Definitely.
crazy now. I'm really nervous for 3,000 kids. I can't navigate the hallways now with 2,700 kids, and I don't know what we're going to do with 300 more.
So when did you know that you wanted to become a teacher? Is it something you always wanted to do, or is there somebody that influenced you? Or
There was 2 teachers that I had in high school that really influenced me. There was a major change at one point. I tried the whole mechanical engineering thing when I first transferred to NIU from ECC. It was just too antisocial for me. Like, literally, people wouldn't even talk in, like, the lobby of the engineering building. I mean, it was just like, hi, how are you? And they'd go back to whatever they were doing. I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work for me.
Okay.
I'm the chatty Cathy here that used to be, talking. So I kind of switched back to education. But again, a lot of family were teachers, and I kind of always knew what I was getting myself into with that. An uncle was department chair down in Equa Valley. His daughter's the cousin that's the PE teacher, so I had a lot of that. But my physics teacher at high school, and I went to Jacobs, just really made it interesting, made it fun. It was hands-on. We got to do all the projects and all the fun stuff that I try to incorporate in my classroom, and it really sold me on it. And then I had another teacher. Her name was Danny Perot, who was our industrial tech kind of teacher, did a little bit of everything. And I don't know what it was about her class. It was always intriguing to me. We were always kind of competing and challenging ourselves, and it just really worked out well for me. And those are two of probably my biggest influences, at least through high school.
Okay, very
Before that, I was thinking military at one point. I actually worked pretty hard during my junior year for an appointment to the Air Force Academy, and I had a girlfriend all through high school whose dad was a retired commander in the Coast Guard. He kind of sat me down one night. He's like, "So, Tom, you know what you're getting yourself into here?" And I was like, "I think I'm just going to go to school." I didn't think I could handle the whole service commitment. So
okay, very interesting. Okay, let's switch over a little bit of your personal life. I know recently you just got married, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
How did you meet Crystal? Was it
that's actually kind of an interesting story too.
Nature?
I have known Crystal since we were in 6th grade. We were in the same class. We went to the same middle school, same high school. She has a twin sister, and I was actually better friends with her twin sister just by the group of friends that we hung out with. Right out of college, I had a bad breakup with a girl, and then we have kind of a family friend who was over hanging out with us one night, and I said, "Hey, bring your friends next time,
All right.
And all of a sudden, it was Crystal that she brought to my house. The next time we were hanging out, playing volleyball and playing in the pool. And I'm like, "I know you," and it just worked out. Yep, I've known her since I was 11, 12 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely. I never knew this growing up, but her parents lived a mile from my house. We grew up really close to each other too. She just was on one side of the boundary to go to a different elementary school. I would have known her even longer.
Wow. Well, I know you're newlyweds, but is there a plan in the future to have children, or are you just...
Absolutely. I don't have a time frame, obviously, because I think that's a little too much pressure, but we can actively say we're not preventing it from happening at this point in time, so... If it happens, it happens.
Oh, okay. All right. And you're going to tell everybody, right?
Absolutely.
I'd be
I'm
very
find
excited
out the
about
gender.
it.
I'm not into the whole surprise thing. I'm like, I want everybody to know, all right? We're having a blue room or a pink room, and this is what we need.
As far as just yourself, what would you consider a relaxing evening? Outside of HHS, which I know you spend a lot of time. I'm not sure what relaxation
means. That's kind of complicated. No, I'm a self-proclaimed kind of TV-aholic. I have any given season, I can tell you what show I will be watching at what time during the evening, and if I can't make that, thank God On Demand has come around, because I'm still too cheap to pay for anything that comes with a DVR, so if it's not on demand, I'm not getting it. But I have a number of hobbies. I like working out in the shop. I like working on my cars and motorcycle and stuff like that, and kind of wrenching on the engines a little bit. That's kind of how I probably blow off the most steam during the weekend.
Okay.
But relaxation, it's cook some dinner with the wife, let her do the cleaning.
Nice. Yeah.
And then a little couch time.
Of course. Okay. Well, that's what I was leading into next. Do you have a hobby or something that we don't know about?
I keep telling myself that I want to write a book, and it's basically everything that teachers should know about teaching that nobody in college will tell you. Like, I have a running list of quotes, of things that students have said to me and done that I'm like, oh, that's going in the book. That's going to be in the acknowledgement. I still have one that I love to this day. A girl, one of my first year's teachers, asked me if caves still existed, and I was like,
really?
I didn't think she was serious, and she's like, aren't they extinct? They're holes in the ground. Like we didn't fill them in. Like I was just like, where did that come from? So there's a lot of things people always ask me, like, what's one thing that's strange that's ever happened to you? I guarantee that nobody ever taught me in a methods class, like, what happens if I feel like I'm going to violently get sick and I have to run out of the classroom? There's going to be a chapter about that in the book, because I know what to do now. At least tell one person and they'll get the message out, There's just a lot of funny things. But
you're right.
Hobbies, I do a couple of randomly strange things that people don't know. I chainsaw carve bears. I don't do it often because it's quite an undertaking, but I have done probably 6 or 7 of them for family members. And then, like I said, I work on cars and my motorcycle quite a bit, playing in the garage.
Nice. My brother does that too. Works on the motorcycles and the cars. Very talented in that area as well.
That's one of my summer plans, is seeing if anybody needs like brake jobs and stuff done, so they stop going to Midas and paying twice what it really costs to get that kind of stuff done.
Yes, for sure.
After football practice, of course. In the morning.
Yes, that takes up probably a lot of your time.
Absolutely. Way more this year, last couple of years than in years past too, but things are turning around. So.
Okay, sounds good. If your friends or parents were here, how would they describe you?
Nuts. Probably obnoxious. Loud. Generally entertaining, I would say. I don't know. Caring at the same time. They know that they need something done, I'll get it done. Might not be in a very timely manner, but it'll happen eventually when it gets fit in the schedule.
In your schedule, yes. You have a heavy schedule, especially with the football and the student council.
And I think I just picked up something else, too, that isn't official yet. So, I mean, I think I'm up to be the NCD executive director for our student council, like next level that we go on our overnight field trips for. So that's a 3-year position that I'm thinking I'm getting myself into with that, too.
All right.
So
but an honor as well.
I would say absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, and I couldn't pass it up for that, especially knowing that, someday I want to, make the leap into administration. It's a great leadership experience, an opportunity. And in my 8 years here, there's only been 3 other teachers that I've known, and one's been from Woodstock, one's been from St. Charles North. So it's not something that, 50% of teachers in their career are going to do. So
do something like that. Yes.
I'm going to take advantage of it while the opportunity is there.
Oh, my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a tough one. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
Are no wishes on the or no extra wishes on the table?
Nope. Just 3.
Man, I would say definitely healthy family, because that's very prevalent right now. I'm hoping that our next contract negotiations, we get some money on the base. That'd be a good wish. And I would just say a lifetime of happiness.
Yeah. Very good.
That one kind of covers a lot of different
things.
things.
It certainly does. That third one does. Okay. Ladies and gents, we do have some students in the audience. We have a Huntley High School student and 2 visitors from Woodstock. And do you have any questions? Leela?
Hi, Mr. Kempf. I know it's been a while since I've been in your class.
It's been a little while, yeah.
What was that, sophomore, freshman year?
Freshman year, yeah.
Freshman year it was. I remember when I first got transferred into your class from Stefanik, I was just wondering, is it kind of weird to see students go from freshmen to seniors and then beyond that when they come back? Is that odd for you, or is it just kind of normal being a teacher?
I wouldn't really say it's odd, but I think it's a different experience for me because I don't have you all 4 years. So a lot of you kind of fall off the radar for like the middle years, and then I see you at senior year graduation, and I'm like, holy cow, that's the little freshman that I remember, and then even beyond that, coming back from college. So I don't really think it's weird because I've always been so immersed in the Huntley community. It's not like I'm getting plugged in the closet every night and hiding from you guys, but it has definitely always impressed me to see the growth that you guys have undergone, and not just physical, just emotionally, socially, everything has always impressed me what the changes are from a freshman to a sophomore in college coming back to visit.
Hello, Mr. Kemp.
Hello.
My name is Joel Thomas. I went to Woodstock North 2 years ago, graduated 2 to 3 years ago. Leela actually told me that physics is a class that freshmen take at Huntley High School. I took it my junior year, and that was physics honors. So seniors are actually the people that actually take it at Woodstock North. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about, because at Woodstock North, we start off with biology, then chemistry, then physics. Do you think that physics may be too difficult of a subject for freshmen to grasp, or?
I've never hidden the fact from anybody that I am definitely somebody in favor of switching back to the traditional biology, chemistry, physics sequence for Huntley. But at the same time, I also know that the program that we offer is tailor-made for freshman students. A lot of the things that you guys would have done in your junior, senior level class in a week's time, we spread out over a quarter's time. So we don't do quite as many number of topics, and they stay very conceptual. So it's a very different class. It's not fill up 3 pages of equations and hope at the end of the day that the students have any idea what you're talking about. It's really focused on the misconceptions of physics. What falls faster, the rock or the feather? Well, in real life, obviously the rock, but in a vacuum, what is it going to be? So we focus on ideas and concepts way more than the math, and that's really helped us. There are some times, though, where there's just a level of abstract thought, for problem solving that I think there is a maturity deficit for freshmen. And it's not anything that they can do about it. It's just an underdeveloped brain. They're not ready for that level of thinking that really becomes a barrier. So finding a way to reach those kids and definitely, allow them to succeed becomes a challenge. Do I know that one way is better than the next? I know next year we're going to be offering 2 different paths. We're going to have some freshmen taking biology that are going into our medical academy, and we're going to have some freshmen still taking physics, and it's actually going to end up blending, having freshmen sophomores together in a lot of our physics classes. And I think that's going to be a really good thing, because I'm hoping that really eliminates some of like the squirrely freshman-like behaviors when they're only in there with their peers. You know, they don't have to impress anybody. They don't have to do it because they all know each other. Having some older kids in there that are obviously a little bit more mature and then can kind of start to reach out and teach some of those critical thinking skills, I think is going to go a long way. So I'm really excited for the curriculum next year. But I definitely, in years past, have been a fan of trying to go back the other way.
Hello, Mr. Kemp.
Hello, hello.
My name is Marco. I see some friends that I used to know that live in Iowa. They go to college there now, and a lot of them are starting to get some coaching positions at like rec centers and all that, like teaching the younger kids.
Sure.
And a lot of them are saying how much of a fun challenge it is to balance both coaching and like teaching these young kids their way and handling the college work that they're doing. I was wondering what is the differences or similarities of like the actual challenge of that, of balancing two things when it's work as a teacher and coaching.
The hardest thing to deal with is just the time constraint, because both of them require so much time and focus. You have to be a master of organization and utilizing the time that you have. Is it absolutely probably the most rewarding choices I've ever made? Absolutely. I mean, there are things that I've done with student council kids and the kids that I've coached that you never get the opportunity to do in a classroom. You know, you build bonds with kids that they come back, and yeah, I coach kids on the football field that I never had in class, never saw in high school. I'll run into them at Walmart and they're like, Kempf, and I'm like, Kleckner, you know, like, what was your name again? And because it was just that football connection, and it's a bond that outlives most of the connections that you established with in the classroom, just because it's way more personal. Like when you're going to war with people on the football field or on the soccer field or anything like that, they just know that instantly you're on their side. And I think sometimes not all students believe that about their teachers, unfortunately.
Thank you, audience, for participating. They were excellent questions, and we got to know Mr. Kempf a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And again, thank you very much for participating on the show. Appreciate you having here, and we're lucky that Huntley High School has you as a teacher.
All righty.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Teacher Talk, part of Raider Radio, The Talk, on huntleyradio.com. This is Mrs. Bardy, a.k.a. Chatty Cathy, signing off.
Hey, Huntley!
You're listening to Raider Radio on huntleyradio.com.
Hello, and welcome to Talkin' Tunes. On our last show, I mentioned that my uncle would be our next guest. However, he's unavailable due to a busy work schedule. So today, I brought in 2 friends of mine from Woodstock. Both are guitarists as well as vocalists. Please welcome Joel and Marco.
Good to be here.
So I know that you guys aren't necessarily in a band, but I have heard that you guys participated either in local bands or band in high school. How was that experience overall?
Yes, I played in my friend's local band about 2 years ago. I played bass for him at a show, and it was a very enlightening experience. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't choke, and the crowd was very active, and it was a really good time.
And what about you, Marco?
I personally haven't done any actual shows, any public events or anything like that, but I would certainly be willing to participate in one.
So you guys both play the guitar as well as other instruments that you've acquired. When did you first pick up an instrument, a guitar, piano, whatever you guys picked up?
Well, for instruments in general, I've been playing since I was in, I'd say, about 4th, 5th grade. I know I started band, and I played the trombone for a couple of years. After that, I was a little quiet, and I played the drums for a while. And when I first picked up my guitar, I got it through a guitar learning program at the Woodstock North High School. And it was very nice. They gave us a free guitar. It was an educational guitar, and we did lessons after school every day, and at the very end, if you were able to graduate and do the song that they asked you to play, you got to keep the guitar, and ever since then, it's just been the guitar that I've played.
That's pretty cool that they give you a free guitar if you can learn a full song. And what about you, Joel? You're a guitarist as well as a pianist, right?
I am.
And when did you pick that up?
You know what? To be honest, I can't even remember when I first picked up the guitar. I want to say it was in middle school. and I only picked it up because I thought it was really cool watching Blink-182 play on MTV. I was like, I'm going to start doing that now, playing the guitar. But yeah, I was that kid that had lemonade stands and raised money for his guitar. Not literally lemonade stands, but shoveling driveways, mowing lawns. It took me a while to afford my first guitar, which was just like a Walmart guitar. But I taught myself to play guitar, which really wasn't that difficult. And I actually took piano lessons as a child. Yeah, I had that mom. And yeah, I ended up, you know what, Mom, thanks, because I ended up loving playing the piano.
And that's an awesome skill to acquire, too. Not many people can actually play the piano well. They usually know, like, what is it, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, or some simple songs like that.
Yeah, it was definitely, I'm glad I learned to play the piano, because when you pick it up, it's a really fun instrument to play.
And also, did you guys have any family members that prompted you to start playing the instruments, or was this based mainly on your own interests in music and everything that when you were little in school? Any factors that...
My dad never picked up an instrument. I think that if he picked up a guitar, he'd be like, this is a really fancy piece of wood. I personally, like I said, it was just based, I really loved music as a child. I still love music now. I almost felt that it was something that I needed to do for myself, to try and teach myself how to play guitar, see if I could get into it. And that's really all there was to it. I picked it up and I was like, I just wanted to learn the songs that I loved. And since then, I've loved playing the guitar. Favorite instrument, best instrument, by the way. Don't anybody argue that the guitar is the best instrument.
And what about you, Marco?
I'd say the affinity towards the love of music that I have, it goes back to its roots with really my mom. As early as I can remember, she would be really big into music, and she would always have all these new CDs and records that she'd bring home. You know, ever since then, I really like music.
So no family members prompted you guys to pick up a guitar? You know, well, besides your mom that, you know, forced you into those terrible piano lessons.
Oh my gosh. I just had too much fun.
So what would you say are your musical influences towards anything that you guys might play on the guitar or sing about? If you guys even write your own music, what bands or musical personnel have really prompted you guys to make music?
Well, yeah, I tried writing, making my own songs and everything, but, you know, I feel like I still have a few years of, you know, learning and practicing to go before I can successfully make music originally, but really it's whatever's on the radio or whatever I have playing on my phone that I'll just say, oh, well, that's a nice riff. I'll try to learn that on the guitar, and I'll just look it up online. Really, it's just been like Black Keys, the Arctic Monkeys, music like that.
And what about you, Joel? Your musical influences?
Growing up, it was Blink-182, Green Day, just the big bands of our generation.
Punk.
Lots of pop punk for life, yo. I still love that genre. I still really support that genre. But musically, when I started playing guitar, I listened to a lot of AFI. Jade Puget of AFI was just a really talented guitarist. I really admired his work on the guitar, and that only encouraged me to become better on the guitar. Alkaline Trio, which is actually a band from McHenry that just made it big. Not really just, actually early 2000s they started making it big. The lead guitarist, Matt Skiba, actually went to school and had math class with one of my coworkers, which I thought that was really awesome. Yeah, they're a big band now. They're playing all over the world. They're my favorite band, and listening to their music literally makes me want to sit down and write music. And I do write music. I love to write music. I love to write down lyrics and sing, and I mean, they might not be good songs, but you know what? They're good songs in my heart. That's all that matters, right?
Definitely. And especially with, is it Alkaline Trio? Is that how you pronounce
Alkaline
it?
Trio.
Especially from being from McHenry, that's pretty cool, especially with, like, supporting a local band that went big. And that just shows you how it doesn't matter where you come from. It could be a small little town like Huntley, or it could be a bigger town like McHenry. You can make it big no matter where you come from, especially if you got the right talent.
Matt Skiba's parents are also dentists in Crystal Lake, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, that's crazy.
I want to get an appointment with them.
In general, as an artist, you guys have to have a song that you feel really reflects your personality and who you are as an artist. What song would you guys say reflects your personality and your personnel?
growing up, of course I listened to our generation's music, but who doesn't listen to the Beatles? The Beatles are just, they're a timeless band. They'll never get old.
That select 1% that hates the Beatles for some reason.
They're not human.
They don't even know why they hate the Beatles.
Human.
They just hate the Beatles for some reason.
They, I listened to the Beatles a lot growing up, and the Beatles were always known to be a really uptune, happy band. But then I listened to Eleanor Rigby, which was really a genre-breaking song. The Beatles were known to be a very uptuned band, and Eleanor Rigby really expanded them musically. They brought in a string quartet, which was something they did for the first time as a band. And the song itself, the lyrics are about loneliness. It's a very sad song, and it's not something that first-time Beatles listeners would really expect from the band. But as you listen to the song more and more, you realize that it only helped them develop as a band and as songwriters. And me as a songwriter personally, you can only appreciate that and appreciate the work that went into that, because it's really hard to break the mold and do something different, and then better off yet, to be good at it, which is what the Beatles did with Eleanor Rigby, and I really admire them for that.
And what about you, Marco? I know you mentioned the band Tool.
First of all, I'd say, I want to agree with Joel. The Beatles are practically the greatest band ever.
Oh, definitely. They changed music as we know it.
I know my grandfather has a lot of their records, a lot of remastered CDs, untold number of posters and books and all these things about the Beatles. He's a very big fan, so, just being around them, being little, I got a big glimpse into that world, and I really enjoy the Beatles. But, the first song that comes to mind when I think of, what would describe me would be Lateralus by Tool. It's been fairly recent that I found this song, but the message that it conveys about spiraling out into the universe and being one with the world and going to where no one has ever been, all those things really stick out in my mind as something that, I feel like I should follow.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in and being on the show today. I know it was kind of a last-minute request, but you guys seem to have really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed having you here, and hope that you guys can either come back, maybe even be a permanent position in the show with talking and interviewing. Thanks for coming in, and I hope to have you both back as guests for a future show. That's all for Talkin' Tunes on Raider Radio's The Sound on HuntleyCommunityRadio.com.
Raider Radio is the new program on Huntley Community Radio, created for and by Huntley High School students. Catch the sound for all the latest music and the talk for topics you don't want to miss.